Hey everyone, welcome to Debian Hat. I hope you all are doing good and keeping well. So let's get started with another box that is IDE from tryhackme.com. This time, if you are a beginner, a new learner, have recently stepped into penetration testing world, then this is for you. You are going to learn a lot. From the basics, this will get you hands-on with more methodologies related to penetration testing, wherein you are going to learn a lot. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So here we are with the machine. I have already deployed it, as you can see. Here we are. And moving on, I have already been connected to the VPN, as you can see over here. I have already been connected to it. So what we have to do, let's go through what this box has to offer. So the name is IDE, as I have already told, an easy box to polish your enumeration skills. So again, into penetration testing, you would be polishing your enumeration skills. Okay. Then what next? There is nothing much more that the box offers over here. It just says gain a shell on the box and escalate your privileges. Simply, a simple thing is you will be starting with your simple scanning, the port scanning and enumeration part, scanning and enumeration part next, and at last you will have to get into the most privileged user, that is the root. So we'll get to start with that. Therein, let's get started with it. I'll just simply copy the IP address as I have already deployed the machine. Okay, so first things comes first into the plan. There it goes, the nmap scanning. So let's get started with that. Okay, there I go. I've already created a directory as well for this on my desktop, that is with the name IDE. So what I'll do, I'll just simply fire up the nmap with the IP address -v for verbose, sc for service scripts, sv for service versions. Okay, then what next? I'll output all the results into a file called nmap, and there we go. Now I'll fire it up. It won't take much time, I guess. So we'll be soon returned with the results. As we can see over here, you can see like this. The port 21 is open, port 80, port 22. Now we can guess FTP is running. Okay, port 21, port 80, some kind of web hosting is there. Then port 22 SSH is also running. So what we have to do is, let's check if 21 allows us to log in as an anonymous user or not. Let's wait for some time till the time all the results are being returned back. Okay, and there we go. We are here with the results. As you can see, 21 it's FTP, 22 it's SSH, port 80 it's HTTPD, and it's hosting Apache HTTP 2.4.29. Here we can see over all this. If I go through the HTTP headers, the support methods are head, get, post. These are the methods that are available. Then if I check for title, it says Apache to Ubuntu default page. Okay, so I don't think they have hosted something directly onto the page. Either we'll have to uh, enumerate for the directories or hidden files that could be over there behind the page or behind the line. Else than that, I could not see anything, because the title says it's just the default Apache page that is running. Okay, what else could be more interesting for us? There is, I can see anonymous FTP login is allowed. Okay, so there is one thing that goes. So now three ports we are returned with, 21, 22 and port 80. Okay, the another thing is, what I'll do, I will have a full port nmap scan for each and every port, ranging from 1 to 65,535. All ports will be scanned over. Okay, so I'll run that as well. What I'll do, let's give it the name full and add this -p to scan all the ports. There it goes. It will take a lot of time to scan in. Okay, Let me close that. Okay, there we go. Now enumerating on to the first port that we have got, that is FTP on 21. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly open a new tab in here in the terminal. Okay, let me zoom in a bit. There I go. FTP with the IP address that I have. Now let's give the name anonymous, say in US. There it goes. And same is the password. We have successfully been logged in as an anonymous user because user anonymous have the password anonymous either. So there we are in the box. Let's try to list something that we can find it right there. Okay. The first thing that comes up is the directory dot, which says this is the current directory. Dot means that you want to move into a previous directory, that is the previous one. And these three dots, that means there is a hidden directory. Okay, this is again interesting to look into. So what I'll do, I'll just switch to this directory, and now again we are returned with two of the directories, the current and the previous one that we have came from. And another thing is, this is somewhat kind of a file. It could be anything with hyphen. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just download it. You can use mget or you can use get to download the file onto your box. It says, do you want to download it? Yes. Okay, transfer complete as it says. And I could not find anything much important or useful here in this FTP hosting. Okay, so I'll get out of here, exit, clear this mess out, and if I list things, you can see that I have got this here on my box as well. Okay, so what I'll do, cp slash this to somewhat say a file notes.txt. Let me copy it over there so that we can read it. Okay, let's use nano to read it, notes.txt. There we go. And here we have a notes file that was hidden and out there with the name hyphen. Okay, so there it goes. It says hey John. That means we have potentially got a username. One thing. Second thing, I have reset the password as you have asked. Please use the default password to log in. Also, please take care of the image file as well. Again, the next thing is potential username track. We have got two potential username and we have got this information that is a default password being used. It could be anything for SSH as well, for logging into some service, because we have not yet check onto the web hosting what is that. There could be something behind that is running. Okay, so what I will do in the meantime, I will use my GoBuster and just simply change the IP address right here. Okay, GoBuster, we are looking for directory, so I put it into the directory mode. -w to specify the word list. Okay, therein we go. If there would be something, it will return with the results. Okay, now track John. What I'll do, I'll just create one more file. Let's create a file, nano. Let's give it a name for, like, say, not notes, let's say test, or let's say data.txt, that we are keeping all the track and all the data in here. So we have got potential username, so I'll enter potential usernames, and they have got John, and another I have got Brack. Okay, the another thing that we have got is a default password. So these are some things that we are keeping track of. Okay, let me give it like this. So there we go. I'll write it to the file. and exit it from here. Okay, so we have got the potential username also. Now let's check if we get something in the directory and something with the nmap results as well. So as nmap is running, I know it will take a lot of time because we are scanning for all the ports, not just the primary ones. So there we go. I am back with the nmap results. We are returned with that. Okay, so therein after all those ports like the port 80, port 21, port 22, with the full nmap scan, we have got port 62337, which is open and is a HTTP port hosting an Apache HTTPD 2.4.29 server. So there could be a web hosting over there, some kind of website or something. There could be anything, a web application that has been hosted over there. So looking on to the HTTP headers, I could not find anything much more rather than it's Apache 2.4.29, which is the service version. But if I look into the HTTP titles, therein you can get to see it's Codiad 2.8.4. This is something interesting. That means this application has been hosted over there on the HTTP server and the application version is 2.8.4. Okay, so enumerating the first one, the port 80, then on after that we will enumerate this port later. Okay, so I'll copy the IP address once more from here. There I go. If I look for port 80, because I could not find with the GoBuster anything as well, there were no hidden directories, no hidden pages out there, even not robots.txt. Okay, just for assurance, let me go and check for robots.txt as well. Okay, therein we could not find anything. So let's wipe it out and look for which port it was. It was 62337. Okay, 62337. And there we go. Okay, there it lands up on a user login page, as you can see. Okay, potentially we have two of the usernames. The one is John and the another one is Drac. So while reading through the document, I'll go through that again, the notes file. Just a second, let me clear this up. So therein it says, hey John. That means we can go and try for the user John. We have reset the password to we have reset the password as you have asked. Please use the default password to log in. So okay, let's try it with that, because most of the times default password is password only, or it is like admin, but default password at most of the times is password so far. So let's try with John and let's give it pwrd. Then okay, it says wrong username and password. Okay, I gave a space out there. This could be a reason. Whoa, success. We have been successfully logged in, and as in we can see, this is something related to Python. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4 Python code files available over here. Okay. Therein we can check how we can execute them either. Okay, if they are executable, or before that we can look for some publicly available exploits as well. Okay, before that let's look in for publicly available exploits, or we can look for search exploit as well. So let me go and check for search exploit if we can get any exploit out there. Search exploit, and let's check for CODID 2.8.4. do we have anything for this? Okay, then we get 3 of the modules, and they all are remote code executions with an authentication. That means we should have an ID password to log in, that we already have. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this one. Okay, I'll just copy this one into the directory that I am working in, and the simple command to that is just search exploit -m is to mirror this, and I'll just simply paste it over right there. There I go. I have got it over here in the working directory where I am in actually right now. So it's there 49705, as you can see right there. What we can do next is try to check out how to run this. So I am using Python 3. So I'll try to use this 4905, what it says. Therein it has given us the usage example how we are going to use it. So let me maximize it a bit. Therein it requires the URL that we are going to attack on, the username, the password, IP and IP port and platform. What are they related to now? The IP address is of your machine, that is the one that will be receiving the reverse shell, and the port number wherein you are going to receive the reverse shell, right? And the platform, what you are building it for. Is it a Linux one or is it a Windows one? So from the Nmap results, we are pretty much sure that we are going to target a Linux machine. That's not a Windows one. Okay, so that's pretty much sure. So we'll create this, create the exploit for Linux rather than Windows. So what I'll do, I will just simply type Python 3 49705. Let me copy the IP address out from here. There goes my IP. Okay, then username is John, password is password only. Okay, the IP address of my machine. So what I'll do, I'll just simply go and check my IP. Fconfig, it gives me the IP of my device, that is 10.17.15.31. Let me copy it. Sorry. Copy it out here. There goes my IP, and the port say 1990. I want it on 1990. Then the platform is Linux, as simple as that. Therein, now it says that we have to run some of the commands before we move further. So what I'll do, I'll just simply copy and execute all this in my terminal. Let me clear this up. There I go. Okay, it's listening on port this. What else? Okay, I have to open a netcat session as well. So this has to be opened on port 9091 There I press the enter and the netcat listener is running. Let's press Y. For that we have successfully completed the steps. Therein, if I try to run commands over here like this simply, so this would not run, but once I get there on the port 9091, therein I have got the reverse shell over here. So as in simply you can see we are in IDE www data@IDE. So what I can try to do, I can try to move on to home. Therein I see a user, so drag ls-la. What is interesting over here that I can find out, users.txt. Let's try and read that if we'd be able to. But no, it says permission denied, that we are not able to read this because read permissions are with the user, that is Drek. So we cannot do anything with that. Okay, then moving next, what else could be something interesting? Action profile, locals, bash history looks interesting. Okay, therein let me try go for bash history. Cat. Okay, is it? Yes, it's readable by everyone, so it's a word readable, anyone can read it. Cat.bash. So there I go, I got things in out there. There is a password for Drek, that is Drek, and the password is this. So what I can do two things. Either I can try to log in into Drek using SSH, or I can simply switch user to direct from here only. I guess it won't work. Let me try to get a proper shell if I can. If this works, I'm not sure will this work or not. Many a times it does, many times it does not, so I'm not sure if this would work or not. Okay, it did. So I'll copy the password again so that if I don't mess up with the first time. Copy and paste it right there. And boom, there we are in direct. So we are at the user direct. Let me clear this out, whole thing. No, we don't have term variable. So what I'll do, export term is equals to xterm. Then we go. Now I can clear it. So we have a stable shell right now. So what I can do, I can simply get the user's text right there. Okay, there I get the user flag. I'll simply copy and paste it there in THM. There it goes. What happened? Okay, there I go. I'll just simply copy paste it right here. And as expected, it has to be the correct answer. There we go with the correct answer right there. Now moving on. What else? Now the first things first, when we got into the shell, we have been there in the direct as in direct user. Now we need to escalate our privileges more to get into the root user. So there are many things that we could try. We can look for some weak file permissions that could be read and write permissions to XC password file or XC shadow file that we'll be able to read it or we will be able to write it. We can check for that. We can check for bash history over here as well as we did. So we have already been done with it. We can check for some sudo permissions as well, what this user is able to run as. Okay, so we'll look for some sudo permissions that this user would be able to. Okay, simple command is sudo -l. So this will list out all commands or things that this user can run as sudo. Therein I need the password and I have lost that. Okay, which I have lost. So let me, this one not work. Just a second. Dot bash. There I go. Copy it once and out. So there I've copied, and what I'll do, I'll just look for some sudo permissions. Let me copy paste it there. And boom, there we go. We have some of the permissions that this user can run. That is the service vsftpd is something that this user can run as sudo. Okay, that is we can restart something like that. Okay, so therein I go. What I can do, I can go and look for the service configuration files and try to mess up with that. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll search for that. Locate. If I would be able to get something in out there. No, not this one, not this. I guess. Okay, that's the one we were looking for. So this is the file .service file that we can mess up with. Let me check the permissions of this file as well. What I can do, just so this file is being available with the user, so we can mess up with this. I'll show the permissions out in there. So this file is available and Drake can read and write as well. So we have write permissions to this file. What I'll do, I'll just open this in Nano. Simple out there. Now there are two things that we can do right over here. Let me get out of this once. Why it was not able, I wasn't able to write that file over there, so I just use SSH to log in into the box again. So I'll locate vsftp3 right there again in. Okay, so we are looking for a service file, so it should be there in the library folder. There it goes. Okay, so this is what we are looking for, and let me check if this file is writable or not again. There we go, this is writable, so we can write it. I'll just open it in Vim or Nano, whatever you want. So let's use Nano for a while. Okay, so it's working fine here. What I need to do, I just need to change this execute start. So what needs to be executed, I need to change this thing. Okay, so there are three ways that you can do it in. You can try to get a reverse shell. You can try to change the path to the environment variable, and therein you can try to get the root shell. Or the another thing is you can put it in execute, that the user direct can run all the commands as root user. Okay, so he will act as a root user. So there are two things that we can do in right there. Three things, sorry. Okay, so I'll be using the third option, wherein I'll give all the permissions to Drake. So Drake would be Drake would be able to do all the things. He'd be able to run commands as sudo, as a root user. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and before that I have already created that command for you people. So what I'll do, I'll just copy that in. Okay, rather than I'll just type it all here. So there I have it. Okay, I'll just paste it in right here. Okay, so bin bash minus c, that is to be there is a command that has to be run. So echo Drake, and we are giving all sudo rights, that is the root rights, to Drake. So he'll be able to run everything without any password. So what we are doing, we are adding Drake to sudoers. Okay, so I'll just simply write to this file and exit out from here. Yes, I want to write to this file and I am exiting out from here. So I'll clear this. I always forgot to add this password onto my file where I was working on. So what I'll do next time, I'll add this copy and take this password into my notes file somewhere out there. Okay, data file, vim data.txt. So I'll add this password here so that every time I don't need to that I've added it in there, and there I go. Okay, sudo -l to check about the command that we were about to run. So I'll run this command now as sudo. Okay, it gives us a warning that the unit file, source configuration file, or the drop-ins of this file changed on disk. Run this to reload the unit. So this, it's asking us to run this command rather than just this. Okay, let me give password to Drake, and I forgot to run it as sudo. I'll have to do that again. Okay, let me try to change if I can. Okay, I forgot to run it as sudo. So what I'll do, I'll just sudo and the command that we copied it from here. So there it goes, this one. Sorry, user Drake is not allowed to execute root on IDE. What the hell? Okay, what I know is that's the way we do it. Okay, just a second, let me do that again. There I go. I'll paste the password from above. Where has it been? Okay, here is it. I'll just copy it out from here. Okay, there I go. Okay, I'll just copy it again from, I'll just copy it here again. I'm just messing out with some commands right here. Now it requires the password. I'll just simply copy and paste the password from therein. There's the password. I pasted it right back. So I'll copy and paste it right here in. Therein authentication completes. Now what I'll do, I'll just run that command that was needed. So now I will run this. Therein we have ran this command successfully. Let me try to switch to root. Yes, it should work now. So I was making a mistake there. So once we have ran all the commands, once we have got all the access for the Drek, as you can see right here. So if I'll show you all the access for Drek. So now Drek is able to run all the sudo commands without any passwords right here, as you can see. So now what I'll do, I'll just simply sudo su, that is switch user to root. Therein I am here in root, as you can see. Okay, there it goes. I am to root. What I can do next is to go and get the root flag. Root.txt, there I go. So therein I have successfully got the root flag, which was the main aim from heading from a web based user to escalating your privileges and get onto the root one. So we have successfully done that. You have learned a lot of enumeration skills wherein it just not went up for nmap scan, wherein we started with a normal enumeration of nmap scan. Then we got to know we could not get much just from the normal nmap scan. We have to scan all the ports from 1 to 65,535, all the ports. There it goes, went, and we got another service that is running, that was Drek out there. Then we try to exploit Drek using a publicly available exploit. What I would leave up to you as a task is read through the exploit that we have used, and reading that try to exploit the service manually if you would be able to, because it's pretty much simple. If not, you can leave a comment down below there and I will do that manually for you people. I'll do that and execute it manually. Okay, if something is there you don't understand. I hope things are pretty much clear. We have gone so far, we have learned all the things in case of enumeration. Okay, so this was it for this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button below. Okay, see you in the next one with another box.